Well then, it looks like Kyle Kulinski went on Vaush's stream or Vaush's stream. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, he went on there and he said some interesting things. He smeared Jimmy Dore as an anti-vaxxer, even though he's clearly not an anti-vaxxer if you watch any of his videos. And he also said some other interesting things, which I will respond to in this video. Right now, this video is not a defense of Jimmy Dore. It just isn't. I will defend him, but it's more about attacking Kyle and calling him out on his BS on this stream. And there's a 2-minute clip which is here, which I initially saw on Twitter, but I'm not going to play this. I'm actually going to play the full interaction about Jimmy Dore, which is about, I think it's about, it's about 15 to 20 minutes. But I think it's important to play it in full context because, honestly, I think in context, I think it's worse than what this little 2-minute clip, makes it out to be. That's just my opinion on that, which is why I'm going to play most of this, not all of it probably, because it's way too long and Vaush just bores me to shit. And he annoys me too the way he speaks, but first I wanted to play this, thanks to my friend Chris here. He found this clip of Kyle Kulinski, Vaush's opinion about Kyle Kulinski last year. This is like 34 seconds, so I'm going to play this real quick. This is hilarious, and
the way that he talks about, well, his bad strategy post Super Tuesday. Oh, yeah, dude, your fucking political strategy is on point. You literal simpering fucking 60 IQ, brain-dead, troglodyte fucking populist who has no idea how the political system works and whose entire fucking political operandi is based out of spite and anger and frustration and nothing else. Holy fucking shit. I hate this guy. I fucking hate Kyle Kulinski so much. He's such a horrible, dishonest fucking actor. It's insane. I can't believe people like him.
I can't believe people like him. And he's a troglodyte and all these other insults that he gave Kyle Kulinski in 30 seconds. Now Kyle Kulinski will proceed to basically kiss his ass and talk about and attack Jimmy Dore and also kiss Cenk Uygur's ass. In this video, I would refer to Cenk Uygur as Daddy Cenk, and I will refer to Vaush as Daddy Vaush, because clearly Kyle Kulinski is cucking himself to them in an obvious fashion. I laughed my ass off. and by the way, as far as I know, Kyle Kulinski's never addressed this video with Vaush. Maybe he has privately, I don't know, but publicly he's not addressed this at all, as far as I know. Maybe he did, but as far as I know, this has never been addressed with Kyle Kulinski and Vaush. Now, I'm going to play this whole interaction between between Vaush and Kyle Kulinski. It's about Jimmy Dore, which is why I said Jimmy Dore. But this is insane. It to me, in context, is worse because, as I showed, it's only a 2-minute clip here. This is the clip I saw. But in context, I think it's a lot worse. So hopefully this won't take too long, but it probably will because
Now, you strike me as a person who is extraordinarily.
Let me put this on screen.
What I'm trying to think of the most honorable term for this. You believe so much in people. I think you're an extraordinarily would it be good-natured? You don't like instigating drama. There's a collection of terms that are valid here, but I think I never get the impression from you as somebody who likes bickering, I guess, with people around you. So it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Dore. It's putting it very mildly. But I guess I'm interested in your thoughts on this. It seems, at least from my perspective,
Oops. No shit, you're not a fan of Jimmy Dore. You've been smearing him for a while, so there's no surprise that Vaush isn't a fan of Jimmy Dore.
Perspective of a lot of people online, I think, that Jimmy Dore has gone very much down the toilet in recent maybe 2 years, but sort of accelerating with time, where it's gone beyond a kind of I mostly criticize Democrats and more towards a just fastidious borderline.
Fastidious. I mean, I hate the way this guy talks. I don't even know what that means. I didn't even heard of that word. This is what Vaush does, I guess. He goes, looks at his thesaurus and figures out, okay, what word have I never used before? Oh, this word, fastidious. Okay, great. Let me use it in a sentence. I don't understand what that even means.
Conspiratorial obsession with attacking everybody else on the left over anything that he can, which is getting down to like practically Glenn Greenwald territory and like the direction that things have gone. Now, I'm
Glenn Greenwald territory. What are you talking about? Glenn Greenwald's still a great journalist. You may not agree with anything he says, but he's still a great journalist. No one's ever questioned his journalism, so I have no idea what he's talking about. Glenn Greenwald territory.
I'm not going to do anything cringe like asking you to denounce, but I am interested.
Yes, he wants him to denounce Jimmy Dore. That's pretty much what Vaush wants. And he's going to get it. Because Kyle Kulinski is trying to cuck himself to Daddy Vaush here. That's what he's trying to do here.
In your perspective, right? Like, do you just want to stay out of things? Do you think there's a glimmer of hope? What's your perspective on that, you know?
So I have a lot to say about this, actually.
Yeah.
So first of all, I like to keep my circle tight, and I don't like to let a lot of people in. And what you're seeing now, what's going on with him, is a good reason why. Why I wanted to keep my circle small, and why it was probably a mistake to get close to almost anybody in the industry. So he was a good friend of mine, but also Cenk and Anna were good friends of mine as well. And now all of them have a burning, passionate hatred of me.
Well, that's because Cenk and Anna hate you because they're teenagers, and as soon as you slightly disagreed with them, they turned on you. Instantly. Daddy Cenk turned on Kyle like that. And the reason why Jimmy's upset is because you left out a lot of things on what happened with the whole drama thing, which not really drama, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, it's kind of like, you know, he left out a whole bunch of stuff, didn't respond. It was just it'll take me forever to get through what happened between Jimmy, Kyle, and TYT, but yeah, we'll get to that because he brings it up. So.
And that all really stemmed from the fact that I felt like I was dragged into their fight. Now, I never, ever held back in terms of discussing my feelings on the politics of what they would argue about. So all my views were well known about all the different things that they would bicker over, whether it was Russiagate or whatever.
It's not bickering. The Young Turks, for years, pushed Russiagate. And Jimmy Dore called him out on it over and over and over again. Because Russiagate was bullshit. This is not just bickering. They spent years doing it. And they smeared Julian Assange, too. Which is, by the way, the Young Turks not retracted their Russiagate reporting. They have not apologized for smearing Julian Assange. They have not done anything. They have not done a damn thing. And Kyle here has a nerve to minimize it. Like, oh, it's just drama. They're just fighting over Russiagate and stuff. No. It's a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. And Kyle here acts like, oh no, it's not a big, I don't want to get involved in their little, cat fight. No, it's a big deal. The Young Turks to this day have not corrected their reporting on Russiagate, and then not apologized for smearing Julian Assange as a Trumper. That's what Jimmy Dore is calling out. This is not just some petty little drama, as Kyle puts it here.
But when I was really like, I'm staying the hell out of this, is when it got really personal between them. And again, you got to understand from my perspective, since I know Cenk, I know Anna, I was close with Cenk, and I was close with Jimmy. So when I see it getting personal and ugly, man, I really feel like I'm stuck in the middle now. Any normal person in that situation, like there was this expectation that I had for other reasonable people that, well, obviously, I don't want to get in the middle of the personal shit, right? Like if you were fighting with some other creator and I knew you and the other creator really well, you wouldn't expect me to like hop in and white knight for you or some shit. Because that's wholly
white knighting. What you're calling out TYT. Why didn't you call out TYT for their horrible reporting when Jimmy was doing it? And then on top of that, they smeared Aaron Mate. So something which has started this whole drama, restarted it from Forced to Vote. It started in December of Forced to Vote. Then it kind of settled down a little bit. Then in around March, I believe it was, or I don't remember the exact time, but the Young Turks smeared Aaron Mate as a Russian agent, and he's paid by dictators, as Anna said. So that's what started it up again. Why I don't know why he's acting like he's like, oh, I don't want to get involved, like he's some kind of he's above the fray. I mean, come on, don't be ridiculous.
Unreasonable, right? Well, I was sort of dragged into giving my commentary on
Oh, poor baby, you were dragged into it. Why, if you didn't want to comment, don't comment on it. Just don't do it. But since you did, and he responded to it in a dishonest way because if you watched his original video from months ago, he talked about how he got mad at Jimmy for basically saying, "Oh, Anna dressed inappropriately." Then he claimed, then he left out the blackmail part, which they talk about here, and they minimize the blackmail part. Both Daddy Vaush and Kyle, here, they minimized the blackmail part, but it was big deal, that was implied blackmail. It's basically, oh, if you don't stop talking about me, then I'm gonna make you out as a horrible person, and you're a sexual harasser and all this stuff. It was implied, but it's clear it's blackmail.
The entire feud between them. I did it begrudgingly, but again, I felt like my hand was forced. And so I told everybody exactly how I felt. And one of the reasons why, apart from the personal side of it, one of the reasons why I didn't want to tell everybody exactly how I felt is because I knew there was no political home for my take. I knew everybody would fucking disagree with it because my take was actually
here comes some fucking ads.
Relatively nuanced in the sense that.
Let me mute this. Oh, poor baby. Honestly, he acts like a little child here. He acts like an absolute little child here, like, oh, they made me respond, and I really didn't want to respond, and all the, please, I didn't want to respond, and come on, be a man. Either respond or don't respond. If you're going to respond, be honest about it. Don't leave out shit. That's all. No one's asking, geez, like, this guy, he's not a man, he's like a mouse, he just...
On the politics of the fight, I agreed much more with Jimmy, but on like the personal side of the fight, Jimmy was being a fucking dick. And so
did that hurt your feelings? Jimmy is a dick? Yeah, because Anna blackmailed him. That's why he's being a dick. I would be a dick too if somebody blackmailed me. I wouldn't be happy about it. I would not be nice to that person who blackmailed me.
So I had to say both of those things, and when you say both of those things, you're going to piss off the Doreites and you're going to piss off TYT.
Doreites? What does that even mean? It's like an immature little attack. Like, oh, the Doreites. No, just, God.
And you're also going to piss off Jimmy himself, and you're also going to piss off Cenk and Anna. And so
because Cenk and Anna are immature teenagers, and as soon as you slightly disagree with them, they lose their shit. They smeared Aaron Mate, they smeared Jimmy Dore, they smeared everybody who disagrees with them slightly. They get smeared and strawmanned. That's what they do.
Basically lost every friendship that I had in this industry because I told people exactly how I felt about their fight. Now, on the politics of Jimmy, I will say I'm familiar with what's been going on with his channel because I see bits and pieces that pop up on Twitter, but I haven't watched a single Jimmy Dore video or a single TYT video since the...
See, this is interesting. He says he hasn't watched a single Jimmy Dore video, but then later on here, he's going to proceed to smear Jimmy Dore as an anti-vaxxer and stuff, even though he didn't watch a single Jimmy Dore video. He doesn't have a clue what Jimmy Dore has been talking about the last 6 months, but he will smear him as an anti-vaxxer here. With Vaush.
I've totally excised them from my life. I literally haven't, spoken a word to any of them since then because, by the way, behind the scenes, you can imagine both Jimmy and Cenk, like, personally blew up at me behind the scenes. And so, I'm a grown-ass man.
No, you're not.
If you're going to
you're a mouse.
Act like that...
You've been whining this entire time.
That's it. It's over. Like, we're done. So, obviously, I left the TYT network and all that stuff. But...
According to Cenk, this is interesting. According to Cenk, he fired Kyle pretty much. He let him out of his contract, his affiliate deal, whatever. Kyle says he's left, so I don't know what's true. I tend not to believe Cenk because he's such a liar, but Kyle doesn't have much credibility here either, so I don't know who to believe. It doesn't matter. Kyle's gone from TYT. Either he got fired or he was let go, or Kyle left on his own. I don't know, but that's interesting that he said he left.
In terms of Jimmy's politics, so what I've seen is there was a time when he would mostly criticize Democrats, and you got the sense it was from the left and it was to improve them. Then, over time, slowly creeped up from like, okay, 70% of your commentary is going after the Democrats, 30% is going after the Republicans. Now it's like 80-20. Now it's like 90-10. And then it got to like 100% of the commentary is just like Democrats are bad. Now, if you have a platform, you have to realize, even if you think it's like, well, duh, the Republicans are bad, there might be some 14-year-old coming to your channel who doesn't think that's a duh, and all they see is you shitting on Democrats.
I wouldn't recommend 14-year-olds to watch political commentary on YouTube, even though some of them do, because a lot of Vaush's audience pretty young. But the idea that Jimmy Dore should call out Republicans because he has to teach children about how shitty Republicans are is just ridiculous. Like, who cares? I mean, honestly, who cares about this whole Republican-Democrat dynamic? They're not in charge. The fucking deep state is CIA, the NSA, the State Department, the Wall Street. Those are the ones really in charge. This whole like bickering, like, oh, Democrats are better, Republicans are better, Republicans are horrible, and Democrats are good. It's bullshit. All that's bullshit. I'm glad Jimmy Dore doesn't make videos attacking Republicans. Kyle does that, TYT does that, Sam Cedar does that, David Pakman does that, David Dole does that, Mike Figueredo does that. You all do that. We don't need every lefty YouTuber to go attack Republicans and tell people, oh, yeah, they're the bad guys. I don't do that either. I'm not interested. That's a waste of my time attacking Republicans. Like, yeah, we all know this shit. So are Democrats. They're shit too. I mean, this is ridiculous nonsense.
And then you're sort of painting a misleading picture of the world. And then when it really got to a point where it was like, this is just sad now, is when the vaccine skepticism stuff started happening. That's
Here we go. This is the beginning of
things on
they
Twitter
smear Jimmy Dore.
Here's his most recent however many videos, and like 60% of them or some shit were just like doubting the vaccine.
Yes, doubting the vaccine. He's not doubting the vaccine, Kyle. He's questioning the efficacy of the vaccine. As Jimmy, they will go on. It gets much worse, but he's doubting the efficacy of the vaccine because the government over and over again has promised that these vaccines will stop spread of COVID. They don't. And that's crystal clear from all the evidence. They don't stop spread of COVID. What the vaccine does is limit it'll stop you from getting sick, and it'll make it less likely that you'll get COVID. But if you do get COVID, it won't stop the spread of the infection. That's all Jimmy Dore says. He's not doubting the vaccine. He's fully vaxxed himself. So I don't know this gets worse though.
And when I saw that, I was like, well, it's a good thing that all my ties are severed with everybody, because I do not want to be associated with that in any way, shape, or form.
See, he says he doesn't want to be associated with either of them, but then he proceeds to kiss Daddy Cenk Uygur's ass, and later on here, and so.
Okay, yeah, okay, I follow that. I get that. I want to talk about the politics in a bit, but there was this weird thing where it felt like, now obviously this is inference on my part. We don't know what Jimmy Dore actually thinks or feels, but I followed your videos, or I saw them when they came out with regards to that dispute between Dore, Anna, and elsewise. And it felt like the fallout that came afterwards from either side was very different in the reasons that came about. Because with Anna and Cenk, it felt like they were under the impression that you were holding water for Dore because you were friends, or because right.
And then ask Jimmy how he feels about me.
Well, but the thing is, like with Jimmy, it felt like, because I can sympathize with Anna and Cenk's perspective, because I don't distinguish between political and personal when it comes to like Dore, with the harassment stuff with Anna. To me, it's understand that. Dore felt like he was going in on you just for not fully committing, like it felt like
Dore
he was calling you like
Dore got mad. Jimmy Dore got mad at Kyle, not because he didn't fully agree with him. He got mad at him because Kyle left out the blackmail part, and gave all this fake outrage about, oh, you said Anna dressed inappropriately, so now I'm gonna punch you in the face. That's what made Jimmy upset. It had nothing to do with him not agreeing with him 100%. I don't think Jimmy really gave a shit. And on top of that, there's another incident, which they don't mention here, that when Jimmy was supposed to go on Crystal Kyle and Friends, and at the last second, they debooked him from the show and didn't bother telling him. And they had Cenk Uygur's nephew on. So that's a whole nother drama that happened 6 months ago, too, which Kyle does not address here at all. So that's why Jimmy was mad. And then to do with the fact that, oh, yeah, Kyle, I didn't agree with him 100%. That's why he's mad. Bullshit. I just explained why he was mad.
A traitor and a backstabber. And I watched your video, and it honestly seemed like a you know, like his engine, the steam engine, you know, is drama and outrage, and just, you know, we're all fuel to that, and just eventually we have to be thrown in, you know.
Well, I think his big contention was that he felt like I didn't acknowledge that he, according to him, was, quote, blackmailed. That
You didn't acknowledge it. You had to acknowledge. You had to make another hour-long video to acknowledge it, and you apologized to Jimmy Dore at the time. Now he turns around. He was supposedly blackmailed. No, I mean now he's trying to like backpedal from the other video he made 6 months ago. He made 2 videos. The initial video, he didn't acknowledge it. In fact, he ignored it completely, and then attacked Jimmy Dore for saying that Anna was dressing inappropriately. Ridiculous.
that when Anna sent that message to Jimmy and was basically like, "Hey, listen,
Oh,
if you
that
don't."
wasn't blackmail. What a
Oh, that wasn't blackmail. No. Of course not, Vaush. I mean, you're clearly trying to kiss TYT's ass too. That wasn't blackmail. You know, that was ridiculous. Oops.
what a horrible. What that no, yeah, that he was just wrong on that. That was not blackmail.
She's just wrong,
I will say
obviously.
this though, and this is not in defense of Jimmy. This is just my
No. Daddy Vaush, don't worry. This is not a defense of Jimmy. I'm just going to point out partly the truth here for a second, Daddy Vaush. Please give me permission to do that. Come on. That's what Kyle's doing here. It's embarrassing.
to objectively read the situation. Don't you find it questionable that the time Anna chooses to send that message is after when Jimmy's been beating up on TYT relentlessly on his channel? Now, by the way, a lot of those criticisms that Jimmy had of TYT, I think, are totally unfair, and I think they cross a line and they're dumb. And I mean,
Which ones? He gets to it, but which ones are unfair? Let's
one of the things
see.
he did is like, "Oh, you're accusing me of misogyny? You're the real misogynist. Look at this video from like 2008 or whatever." And I was like,
See, this is where he defends TYT here, and he's like, Daddy Jank, please, Daddy Jank, let me get back in your good graces. I'll defend you. I'll defend your misogynist, sexist videos, like Guess the Camel Toe and Jank likes horse fucking and all. I'll defend that, please, Daddy Jank. Just let me back in TYT. I'll do anything. That's what he's doing here. Like he's defending TYT for all the gross videos they put out 10 or 15 years ago and pretending to be Howard Stern when they weren't. It's embarrassing. This guy, he's defending them. He's defending Daddy Jank here. Let's see.
okay, rolling my eyes, like, come on.
Right.
So without getting into whether or not like the specific criticisms there, don't you think the timing of that was like, yeah, Anna was trying to say, I have this thing I could hold over your head, and if you don't stop beating up on us, then I'm going to tell everybody this.
I think I don't know if I can say it's necessarily coincidence, only that I feel like that's in line with how a lot of Me Too stuff happens, right? Like usually if there's some kind of improprietary behavior, something bad like that, it gets held for some time until there's like a following instigating incident.
Have you ever seen an Anna Kasparian video? Have you ever seen her talk? You think she would keep her mouth shut for 7 years if Jimmy Dore is constantly sexually harassing her, as she claimed? No, of course not. She would have ran her. She would have told Jank. She would have told whoever needed to tell and made sure to get rid of Jimmy Dore. That's what would have happened. She wouldn't have kept her to herself for 7 years. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous assertion to make.
It felt like, I mean, in a way, especially since, didn't he show like DMs of her beforehand or something? I feel like with respect to that, it wasn't so much blackmail as it was like, you've gotten away with this shit for so long. Now
Vaush here is kissing ass. He's kissing TYT's ass. And like, obviously it wasn't blackmailing. Come on, right? I have to defend TYT here. So this is this part.
Like that kind of deal. You know?
See, and I think that's a great analysis, and I think that's where like the fundamental breakdown in people's interpretation of this comes from, is that whoever's more like Team TYT, that's definitely going to be their reading of the situation because they trust Anna over trusting Jimmy, and whoever's Team Jimmy is going to think like, no, they're blackmailing him, and look at the timing of it, and because they believe Jimmy more than they believe TYT. So, and I do feel like.
What are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, if you're a TYT fan, you're going to believe TYT. If you're a Jimmy Dore fan, you're going to believe Jimmy Dore, obviously. But looking at it honestly, who has more credibility? Jimmy Dore or TYT? It's obvious Jimmy Dore. It's super obvious. I mean, I don't agree with everything, all of Jimmy Dore's political stances, but he obviously has more credibility here than the Young Turks. The Young Turks have smeared Julian Assange. They've lied about Russiagate for years, and they have no credibility here. I mean, they've never retracted any of those stories, never retracted the smear of Julian Assange, never apologized for it. So who has more credibility? Obviously, it's Jimmy Dore here. It's not TYT.
Some would say this might bias my perspective. I think there might even be an argument for the opposite, but I feel like since I was friends with both of them, it almost gave me a unique insight in that I viewed both Jimmy and Cenk and Anna as like good, kind people who I'd had nothing but positive experiences with. And so when it all unfolded, you know, I that's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I'm like, well, I kind of have like a nuanced view of what's going down here. And I know if I speak up, I'm just going to lose all my friendships. And unfortunately, I was dragged into a place where I felt like I had to speak up.
No, I get that. I don't think it can be blackmail categorically, because I don't think there was a threat in there.
No,
She just
it's
said
definitely
she was
not
gonna.
legal. It's definitely not legal.
We're not talking about Anna should be arrested for blackmail. It was implied blackmail. It was clear in the message. What are you talking? Like, oh well, I don't think you know. I mean, it's not blackmail because she didn't directly say it. No shit. She's not that stupid. I mean, it was implied. It was obvious in the message.
Legal, like, you know, prosecutable in court blackmail. It's just, you know, the argument from the Dorites would be, well, after
Dorites.
Jimmy's been beating up on you for
Dude's
weeks
a
on your
jackass.
channel, on his channel, now all of a sudden you bring up this thing, which obviously you were okay with for years beforehand. But listen, I'm not saying that to defend Jimmy. I'm just telling you what the Dorite.
No, Daddy Vaush, I'm not trying to defend Jimmy here. I swear. I'm just making this point. You know, please don't kick me off your show. Please, let's be buddies, okay? Even though you call me a troglodyte and a motherfucker and whatever he said, you know. So please, Daddy Vaush.
View of it was, from my perspective now, I'm just, you know, it from a personal perspective, it sucks because I really do value Cenk, Anna, and I value Jimmy as a friend. But from a political perspective, I'm just happy that I have like no strings attached to any of them anymore, because from a political standpoint, I didn't agree. I mean, I obviously massively disagree with the editorial direction that Jimmy's show was going in, but I also had serious, you know, issues with how TYT had been over the past 3, 4, 5 years, where they didn't really align with what I viewed as my values much anymore.
Just say it. They smeared Julian Assange and they lied about Russiagate for years. That's what I assume Kyle's problem was with the show. I mean, just say it. Why are you so afraid of saying it? Because he's sucking up to Daddy Cenk. He wants his old affiliate contract back. He wants to be in the good graces. That's why he won't say it. But that's why he dislikes, you know, TYT's coverage over the last few years.
Right. It's just I get that with the TIT politics. It's just, it felt like, I mean, when you're talking about like default charitability, it seemed like this
video's going way too long.
I mean, this got followed up with by like Jimmy Dore kind of bragging about the harassment. Apparently, he lied.
He didn't brag about the harassment. Anna blackmailed him, and then Jimmy responded and explained what happened. He wasn't bragging. Like, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't bragging about it. Like, hey, yo, I sexually harassed Anna. Isn't that funny, right? And that's not what he did. He explained the situation, and now Vaush here is like, oh, he's bragged about it. Obviously, he's bragging. It's not fucking bragging, jackass.
Lied about it because Anna said there were like other comments, and he was, you know, like trying to embarrass her with.
What other comments? You see, that's the thing. Anna has no credibility. She helped smear Julian Assange, and she lied about Russiagate for years. She has no credibility whatsoever. Even so, you can't take. He's taken Anna's word over Jimmy's because he hates Jimmy, which is fine. He can hate Jimmy, but he's taken her word over Jimmy because she showed no evidence that Jimmy regularly sexually harassed her, as you know she would claim.
That was my issue, Vaush. My issue is exactly what you just said. That's why in my segments where I talked about this,
the ad.
The biggest problem to me wasn't even the initial incident. The biggest problem was how
going back to
mute this shit. Yeah, I mean, Kyle's like a little baby. Oh, please don't. You know, please let me back on TYT. You know, it's pathetic.
how he talked.
Okay, let's go back to this now. This is a pathetic performance he gave here on Vaush's show. It's embarrassing. You know?
Talked about it in the video because he
The
talked
video's
about
going way
it
too
so,
long,
like,
but I need to get through this.
and glibly while acknowledging that this is something that she was like, she really felt disgusted by.
Because she blackmailed him, Kyle. Yes, I mean, he was flippant about it and he was pissed off, and I don't blame him. And now Kyle Kulinski here and Vaush are gonna pearl clutch and pretend, how dare you? How dare you be flippant about this? It's a serious situation. It was not. Anna made up a Me Too thing and tried to smear Jimmy with it. That's all this was.
By and disrespected by and didn't like, and then now he's sort of like talking about it as and laughing about it, and it's like, well, nice new skirt, and it just struck me as like, this is not how an adult handles this situation, and it's gross, and I want nothing to do with it. And so
pearl clutching. That's what's Kyle doing here. He's straight up pearl clutching. You know, it's like, oh, how dare you? I mean, that's not how an adult handles this. It's like, how have you ever been blackmailed, Kyle? Because if you're blackmailed, then maybe not, because he's not really a man. But if you're blackmailed, then you're gonna get pissed off about it. And yes, and you're gonna make fun of her. I'm sorry. I mean, if you don't like that, then I don't know what to tell you.
At that point, for him to want me to come in and like white knight for him is like, fuck off. I don't agree with how you're acting here. I don't agree.
Fuck off, you know, like he's a tough guy or something. When he threatened to punch Jimmy Dore in the face when he made his initial video, it's like, you're not a tough guy. You're some upper middle class white suburban dude pretending to be a tough guy. You're not. You've never been in a fight in your life, probably.
Agree with how you're talking about this shit.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, kind of the almost like optimized to be the worst behavior possible. If you engage poorly in the past, I've got a big home for retribution in my heart. Or sorry, oh my god, not retribution, rehabilitation. Wait, my bad. No, okay.
That's a Freudian slip.
Okay.
Both can be good.
Right, that wasn't a slip up. Rehabilitation. And I think, you know, there's a lot of room for people to change. With Dore, though, it was like, you know, okay, so he's going after TYT for political reasons, you know, okay. Anna feels...
It's not for political reasons, it's a lie. He's going after them because they smeared Julian Assange and lied about Russiagate. And they also smeared Aaron Mate. And they also attacked Jimmy over forced to vote and called him the grifter. So, yeah, so they started it and they made it personal. Jimmy didn't start any of this shit.
Was like, you know, maybe...
And Kyle knows this, but he's trying to go against them against Jimmy, I mean, because he's trying to kiss up TYT and Daddy Jank. That's what this is about.
DMs were leaked already. She's like, okay, well, fuck you. I'll just make it clear you did this to me. And he does this thing, like, kind of laughing about it, playing it down, apparently being dishonest about it. It's for, like,
apparently being dishonest about it. Either he is or isn't. I mean, did you watch Jimmy Dore's videos on this? I don't think you did. Or else then, you know, you wouldn't see apparently being dishonest.
Monetizable content, and then accuses her of blackmailing, and it seems to me like categorically the way an abuser would get away with things for years.
Oh God!
You do stuff, and then afterwards, your immediate response is never reflection.
I just want to punch my fucking screen with this asshole.
Invalidate, make.
But the only computer I have, I can make these videos, so I won't do it.
To harass them, downplay, you know what I mean, like stigmatize everything that you can do. And again, this is all inference here. You know, I'm not saying he's some kind of criminal mastermind. It's just, I definitely sympathize more with the hurt.
No, except you smeared him pretty much as a sexual harasser and a sexual predator. That's what you just did. But yeah, let's not, you know.
From Anna, and I don't know much about Jank really, but I guess from Anna.
Anna. You keep calling her Anna. It's hilarious.
Jimmy Dore side, it really just seemed like he was mad you weren't like his pawn or like his legionnaire. Yeah. You know what I mean? No. Like you didn't explain why he's 100% in favor of Jimmy Dore, and then at the end of your video say you were donating to him as an apology for being on Earth when this happened to him. So he was going to spend the next week, you know, calling you a liar and a traitor and a snake. And it just,
I don't know how much more I can take of this, but
looking at it, you know, a lot of people thought you
were left.
That you did that to appeal to Jimmy because Jimmy's also a huge channel. But to me, it's always come off, I guess, like half you don't want to get involved in that way, and half you I don't think you have like a natural predisposition for attacking people that are in your circle.
That's 100% correct. And let me just say this, for anybody who thinks that what I did was like calculated or there was an angle or something, I lost my friends because I told people
I don't give a fuck. Be a man. You know, sometimes if your friends get mad at you over an opinion, they got to get over it, or, you know, that happens, you know. I don't agree with all my friends all the time politically. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm not going to express my opinion. Of course I am.
People exactly what I thought about the situation. And that's why I tried to stay out of it, because I knew if I tell people exactly
more
what
whining
I
from Kyle Kulinski. Come on, dude, be a man.
And so,
oh, they hate you. Poor baby. Move on. I mean, you have Crystal Ball now. She's a friend, right?
Dragged in, so I had to do what I thought was the, morally correct thing. I felt like ethically, like now I have to say something, and I told people exactly what I thought, knowing not only would I lose my friends over it in the industry, and they were friends for real. I mean, I co-founded fucking Justice Democrats with Cenk Uygur.
I don't give a shit.
Live shows with Jimmy Dore. These are people I've talked to. I know them personally.
He's sitting here crying pretty much. Oh, I was friends with Jake and Anna and Jimmy Dore, and now I'm not their friend. Yeah, because you tried to both side it. You tried to say, oh, they're both guilty. Please be my friend. Oh shit, it turns out they both hate me. Fuck, I didn't see that coming.
And, Anna and I have had a bunch of lovely conversations. I've been on TYT 4 or 5 times, whatever.
I can't take this whining.
Are TYT stands, and some of them are Jimmy Dore stands.
TYT stands and Jimmy Dore stands. What are you, a teenager? Just say TYT fans or Jimmy Dore fans. I hate this stuff. I hate this stands type shit.
So for me to go out there and say the things I said, knowing that everybody's going to fucking despise me over this, it is literally the polar opposite of people claiming like, oh, he's got an angle, or he's grifting, or he's trying to, appease Jimmy, or he's trying to appease TYT. And by the way,
you tried to appease both sides, and it failed miserably. That's why they all got mad at you. So I don't know what you. And now you're trying to suck up to Daddy Jank, hoping he gives you your old TYT contract back. That's what this is appearance on Vaush is all about.
You saw both those reactions online. You saw people like, oh, he's a fucking neoliberal shill TYT cuck. And you saw people like, oh, he's a little Jimmy sycophant. And it's like, if people aren't going to listen to my whole points and actually digest them, then what am I supposed, what can I do? I'm just.
I watch both of your videos, which are honestly the last few videos I ever watched of Kyle before I unsubbed. I still occasionally watch him, but it's like, I watched both those videos. Both those videos were garbage, and it's ridiculous how he tried to both sides it, and then he tried to split the baby. Like, oh, it's both y'all's fault. Obviously, it's not. Please, pathetic.
Putting out there everything I think in detail, and if people want to misconstrue it and misinterpret it, it's like, okay, well then what the fuck am I going to do? And this is one of many reasons, Vaush, why I've obviously come to the conclusion that I don't even read any like sort of pushback anymore, commentary anymore, because I used to think I have a thick skin. Apparently I don't. Apparently I'm very sensitive because
he just admits it. Oh yeah, I don't have thick skin. I'm sensitive. So that's why I don't read my replies or my mentions on Twitter anymore. I don't read the comments. What an arrogant thing to say. Like, oh yeah, please, I don't need to read the comments section of my videos or my mentions on Twitter because everybody's attacking me, and I have trolls. Like, yeah, that's being prominent on YouTube. You probably have trolls. It sucks, but you gotta go through it sometimes. Be a man.
It's one thing, like legitimate criticism that's substantive, like you and I have when we talk about issues. That's fun. I love that. It's great. But like things that I think are just totally like misstating what I believe back to me and accusing me of shit that I'm not guilty of is like, okay, I can't handle this. I just have to check out from it.
Okay. No, I totally get that. I mean, I think the issue's been hashed. I think, the ultimate winner here had to be Jimmy Dore, right? Because his community is fucking feral. He got a lot of content out of that.
Well, and let me just say this as a final word on this real quick.
I think this is where he smears Jimmy Dore as an anti-vaxxer. And this is what pissed me off. And then he cucks himself to Big Pharma. I'm pretty sure this is a part.
I haven't watched a single TYT video since this happened. I haven't watched a single Jimmy Dore video since this happened.
Again, that's important because of what he's about to say.
But stuff has popped up on Twitter that I've seen that, has caught my eye. And one of the things that is just inescapable is the shit that Sean caught Jimmy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe you're right about how I'm like too kind in how I read people. But when I saw that, I was like, I cannot believe that Jimmy did this shit. No matter what interpretation you want to give of the situation, either, the idea that he himself, was the one who spliced up the article to change the literal meaning to the opposite of what it was, whether he...
Which Jimmy made a 30-minute video explaining and why... and what happened and what led him to, and he explained everything. He went piece by piece and point by point on what happened and and why the producer did what he did. He asked, he apologized. He held the producer to account and fired the producer, and he explained the changes in the article and stuff, and he apologized for it. He did a 30-minute video explaining this on his channel. That's why he's smearing him here, because he said, I didn't watch a single Jimmy Dore video. And why do I believe Jimmy Dore? Because again, he's never bold-faced lied in any of his content. So that's why I tend to take his word. Okay, fine, you know what I mean? He explained it, and I'm satisfied, and let's move on. And Kyle here wants to smear him for it.
He did that.
Oh, and cock himself to Big Pharma in embarrassing fashion, too.
Or you believe the kinder interpretation that his producer did that, and he just didn't read through the article, and he goes out there and whichever.
Well, that's one criticism. Only have Jimmy. He should have double-checked his producer's work before going on air. Other than that, that's fine, you know. I mean, I have no problem what Jimmy Dore did.
Interpretation you believe, either fucking way, totally inexcusable. Completely inexcusable.
Right,
Totally
the
inexcusable.
producer, yeah, well, yeah.
Now Vaush questions producer exists. He's using Sam Cedars' talking points there. He's questioning the producer even exists or not. Fuck off.
I completely agree. It's actually something I've seen before from Tim Pool sometimes.
Now he compares Jimmy Dore to Tim Pool.
Where they'll like, you know,
I can't say much more of this one.
and it's like the
Moth
one
was on and
paragraph
on.
below. And it's this with
Wow.
about that. Lord knows.
Egregious to me because
Okay, so here we go.
let me
This is
just say
listen
real
more.
quick, on the vaccine stuff, it's particularly egregious to me because the act
Now Kyle cucks himself to Big Pharma. This is hilarious.
Overwhelming. There was a French study
Overwhelming.
of over 20 million people, and the vaccines reduced severe
See, he's
illness,
cucking himself
hospitalization,
here.
and death by 90%. That's a study with over 20 million people. Even if you grant the anti-vaxxers their most insane claims about, like, you know, that VAERS thing where you can report adverse side effects from the vaccine.
Now he's dismissing the serious adverse side effect people suffer. Oh, you see, you know the part where they can report their serious illnesses and stuff from the vaccine, or side effects, excuse me, from the vaccine. He's poo-pooing that. Oh, and this is in reference to Jimmy Dore's neck, because if you watch his videos, you know that he's had a stiff neck for months after getting the vaccine, the second shot. So Kyle's kind of poo-poo that too. That's not a big deal.
Even if you grant them every single adverse side effect, you know what? You still should get the vaccine because
Yes, make sure you get the vaccine so Big Pharma can get their money. That's what he's doing here. He's straight up cucking himself to Big Pharma in embarrassing fashion.
damages and the harms of COVID are way worse. And so, like, there's just not even remotely a good argument for anti-vax shit. And so my tolerance for
Anti-vax shit.
that is so thin. And so when I saw that thing, the Sean thing, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. You want to talk about you lost the plot. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Okay, this segues on.
All right, that's it of that. Jimmy Dore is an anti-vax. And I think Kyle knows that too. He has to know that. He's not anti-vax. Jimmy Dore is fully vaccinated. His wife, I think, is fully vaccinated. His staff is fully vaccinated. The few staff he has around him. And so what are you talking about? The only thing Jimmy has said is that vaccines don't stop the spread of COVID. And they help you. And they help you personally. Like, if you get the vaccine, you're less likely to get sick. And you're less likely to get COVID. He's not. All Jimmy said he's not. That's not anti-vax. Kyle's smearing him as anti-vax, but he's not. It's like me, you know. I'm not. I'm fully vaccinated, but at the same time, I'm not intending to get on the booster shot because I don't really need it. I mean, I'm good health. You know, I'm young, but meanwhile, Kyle makes it seem like, you know, he's anti-vax because he won't. He's trying to, no, I mean, he's pro-vaccine, but he's just questioning the government's science and their insistence on getting everybody vaccinated, even though there's no evidence that the COVID vaccine stops the spread, which is all he said. That's not anti-vax. So clearly he's smearing him as anti-vax. Like the cucked little asshole that he is, smug little asshole that he is. Now one more thing, for this video is going way too long, but one more thing real quick. This is Kyle I wonder, this is Daddy Jenks' reaction, because Kyle clearly wants to cuck himself to Jenks, so this is his reaction on Twitter. Here we go. It didn't work, by the way. Kyle also figured out there's no Santa Claus. He just basically called him dumb here. My battery's dying. Jeez, I gotta finish this up real quick. I didn't know that he was this dense and it would take him years to figure out the obvious. I'm waiting for everyone who equated this low-life grifter, Dore, to us and equivocated about who was right to offer their apologies. So no, Cenk is not happy. He's still pissed off at you, Kyle, and you still have to serve some time before he'll accept you back. He says more things on here, I think. Let me see. Here we go. And this guy says, why so mean to Kyle? The dumbass apologized to Jimmy in the middle of the original controversy because Jimmy didn't feel Kyle had sufficiently kissed his ass. Kyle was so wrong, and he thought he were the bad guys. Inexcusable. And we never got an apology. Damn, my battery's dying. We never got an apology once he pulled his head out of his ass. Well, yeah, Cenk is not happy. He won't be happy. And I have to end this video now because my battery's dying. So make sure you like, you subscribe, you follow me on Twitter. All the links are in the description. You subscribe to my Rumble page and my Odyssey page. And I'll see you guys next time. I bid you adieu.